and I'll send you a copy of this as well.
Great.
Okay. Also, thank you so much, Anna, for making the time today to go over this. It's super important, especially with our Expert Access series. I've been looking forward to this since last year. So I'm really happy to have you back here and that we're going to be able to share this with our community. And so, again, just for sake of purposes, my name is Dr. Glenn T. Miller. I am the community business manager with Sunshine Enterprises, specifically with our business acceleration services. The Expert Access series is our way of allowing you all to get to know who our professional service providers and our coaches are, so they'll be able to tell you about themselves. You can ask them questions directly right now, but they're also going to tell you why the services are important for your business. So with that said, Anna, I'm going to let you take over. Again, I am here for the support. I'll let you know what comments that comes up or any questions that comes up. And again, I'm extremely excited for this.
Great. Well, thank you. And thank you for who is ever on the call. I appreciate your time. You know, the first thing, my name's Anna Maria Viti-Welch, and I am president of the Viti Companies. We're a third generation family owned business. My grandfather started it in 1938. And what we do is help individuals as well as businesses with insurance needs. And that is anything for business, workman's comp, property, general liability, cyber. And then we also can help the individual as well. As far as I've been doing this for 40 years, we just hired my nephews who are the third generation. The fourth generation. And I'll tell you, I am the oldest of 6 children, and I was the only one that, because my dad was second generation, would have to help during high school and college to file because no one would teach me anything. So when I wanted to be a teacher, and I was a teacher for a year, I worked for my dad in the summer and it was more engaging. So when I was going to go back, my father just said, "Why don't you just quit and work for me?" Well, 40 years later, I'm still here and I love it. I will tell you though, I know I'm lucky and blessed to have a business to go into, but I had to take over for my father. My father was a networker many years ago. He's 90 years old and still alive. So it was very, very tough to fall into his shoes. Also, he just said, "Here you go." And I really didn't get any training for leadership or hiring. So we've had a lot of ups and downs and bumps. But I will let you know that nowadays, which they didn't have, is you have like the Sunshine Enterprise where you can meet with other people. And I'm sure they have some type of, community where you can go out and ask people questions. You can get help with anything. They didn't have that. So that is what's so wonderful. And that's why I love helping others, because like the Sunshine, and I help with others like the Hatchery and M Hub. I really think it is great. And I'm appreciative that you are letting me on here because, like I said, I know most people don't like insurance. Most people don't understand it. I don't care if they've been in business for a month or 20 years. This presentation that I'm going to give to you, I give to people that are just starting off up to 20 years or 30 years or however long they've been in business, because you have to keep learning about it. What inspired me to work with business owners? I love helping others. I was a teacher before, and I love helping others. My goal, I said, for my life, not only helping people with insurance, but also helping educate people, not only with insurance, but resources. And also, again, what do I need? How do I need it? Okay, because that's a question. Another thing is when it's asked me, when you meet entrepreneurs for the first time, what are some of the most common concerns or misconceptions they have about business insurance? Well, a lot of people don't think they need it. A lot of mentors are not suggesting it because they probably don't understand it. But once you start giving out your product or your service, think about this: you can be sued. And that's what insurance is for. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. Why would you want to pay an attorney $700 to $800 an hour when you could have insurance provide you an attorney and defend you? So that's one of the biggest misconceptions is I don't really need it because I'm not making any money. But remember, anybody can sue for anything. And so even if it's fraud or it's not true, you do need an attorney to get you out of it. So I'd like to start off, and if you have any questions during this time, Dr. Glenn is going to interrupt me because I feel that this is such an important topic that when you are burning and wanting to ask, you want to know right then and there. So, like I said, I'm going to be giving you tips about what you might need or what to think about. So I know most people feel like this. Okay. You're not the only one. I don't care if you're young, experienced, seasoned, old, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's in the same boat. I can't tell you how many startups or businesses call me and say, I have no idea what I'm talking about, learning about. And that is our job as an agent to say, hey, put the brakes on. We are going to help you. I feel that your agent should be giving you bare bones and options, and you can decide. Because the beauty about insurance coverages is you can always add it later. We do not want you to be insurance poor. And we shouldn't be also telling you what you should have. We should be suggesting. But I will tell you, and you're going to hear this a couple times during this presentation, never sign a contract or a lease without sharing the insurance requirements with your agent, because they all have insurance requirements. I just had somebody, as a matter of fact, yesterday, they were going to be in the Navy Pier. I guess they have some type of entrepreneurship. They wanted him to not only have general liability, which everybody should have, they wanted him to have $5 million of umbrella, $5 million of professional, workman's comp. And I will tell you that I said to him, there are many other places that you can go to. So let me write out for you an email to them to ask them to waive or just forget it, because you're going to be paying tens of thousands of dollars for that insurance. Thank heaven he came to me, didn't sign the contract, because guess what? He would have to do it. And he'd probably have to take a loan out for it. I was shocked. But anyways, just remember, what are the insurance requirements? So I like to talk about this before we start, an insurance agent versus a doctor. I mean, your doctor is really important to you, your physical, mental, and emotional health. You want them to be easy to talk to. Hopefully they follow up when they should, and they should be giving you the right information, the right plan, even the right medication. And if they don't, you know what could happen. It's the same thing with an insurance agent. They're helping you with the health of your business. And remember, it's your own time, your own money. So you really want someone that really cares about you and is going to give you the right information. So if your doctor isn't like that, what most people do is they go on to the next doctor. Insurance agent, same thing, especially if you are small, growing, or a startup. They should be calling you at least twice a year to figure out where you're at, because a lot of these policies are based on they're based on sales and payroll. And how are you, if you're starting off, going to tell someone what you're going to be making in the next 12 months? You don't. And so the problem is after this policy period is over, like for workman's comp, it's based off of payroll. Or general liability, a lot of times it's based off the sales. If you underestimate, you're going to be paying at the end. If you overestimate, you're going to get a credit. So really, I feel that the agent should really be calling you to see how you're doing after 4 or 5 months. And again, there's many insurance agents like there are many doctors. Make sure they're talking to you like I'm talking to you now. Okay? I like to also explain this. There is a broker versus a captive agent. What a broker is they represent many insurance companies. So even if somebody came to us and they are selling cannabis, we can help them. Okay. We have all types of coverages, all types of companies. Now, the captive agent, they have companies, but they only represent one. So you have the State Farm agent, they only represent State Farm. Geico, Farmers, Allstate, American Family. Their companies are A+ rated like the broker represents. But again, if you came to them, usually a startup, they're probably not going to be able to help you, but they're great with home and auto. So just so you know, but if you don't remember the name of a broker or captive agent, when you do get a quote or when you talk to them about coverages, ask them, how many companies do you represent? So when you're talking to the agent, they should have asked you, or they're going to ask you about your business entity. Well, sole proprietor, that means that you are doing business under your own name, which I suggest I would never do that, because if you have any assets like money in the bank, do you have a car, home, condo, anything you own? If you get sued and don't have insurance or enough insurance, they can come after you individually. So hopefully you will talk to the Sunshine Enterprise and ask them, do you have an accountant or do you have an attorney that can help me figure out if I need a partnership? Do I need which one is better, an LLC or a corporation? I'm sorry, but the insurance agent can't help you, but they need to know this. And on your policy, it should show which of these are you. So if you have to go and don't have the money and are doing business under your own name, your name should be under that policy. If you're an LLC or a corporation, that should be on your policy. The next step is, where's your business located? Are you in a co-working space? Do you have a lease? Or do you have a home office? So I know one of the questions that I was given is home office. I hope nobody is using or relying on their homeowners, condo, or renter's policy, because these are for your personal needs. You need a business policy, and it's very inexpensive depending on what you're doing, though. Okay. A lease. Well, first of all, your lease is going to have insurance requirements. What are they? So before you sign it, you need to go to the agent and ask them, hey, do you think that these are outrageous? Or do you think that I should be able to, sign? Because let me tell you something, an attorney is not going to know. They're going to be looking at what they really think is important, but insurance terms are not one of them. So again, have a great relationship with your agent. And your agent, after you sign it, should be looking at this, because they need to comply with the lease with the insurance requirements. Okay. A co-working space, I don't know if a lot of them have. I've been in a co-working space before. I think they're kind of loosey-goosey with their contracts, but you can ask, what am I responsible for? A lot of times people are co-working spaces and all they're doing is bringing their laptops. But again, you might be in an office. What if it catches fire for some reason? You really want to know. You don't want to be in the dark. Okay, so what type of insurance do I need? It's either a package or a business owner policy. That's what's going to be called. You don't need to make the determination. The insurance agent, or really the company, does. But I like to throw out and share with you these different terms, because you're going to be hearing these over and over again. So the first thing that's under a package or a business owner policy is going to be general liability. That includes product liability. So general liability is really for bodily injury or property damage. So a couple, for instance, bodily injury. Let's say somebody trips and falls over the cord of your laptop. They can sue you, and that's going to be under the general liability policy. We talked about property damage. Well, let's say you are in a space and all of a sudden a pipe bursts and damages the next door neighbor. That liability is going to cover you. Okay. But the product liability is very important to have and included. So if you are making a product, are you serving a product, and something happens that supposedly, like let's say it's food, they say, hey, I'm allergic to it. Or you're making a little tiny piece of something and somebody chokes on it. Well, who are they going to blame? That's why you want to have product liability included in your general liability. Usually you'll start off at $1 million, but I've seen small businesses have to carry more because of a contract or a lease. If you have general liability now, do you know what your coverage limit is? Do you have a deductible, or do you know? Most of the time, a general liability policy is going to have a deductible if you are in the contractors or trucking. But you want to know. This policy excludes cyber liability and it excludes professional liability, which we will get into after that. I'd like to also tell you a tip. Any policy that has liability after it, they are going to provide an attorney. They're going to pay anything up to the limit. So for instance, you have a general liability policy that's $1 million. They are going to pay up to $1 million if it gets that high for settlements, fees, fines. Okay. Business personal property, you can add on to this. Do you have inventory? Do you have some contents or equipment that you want covered? I will let you know that a lot of startups self-insure because their contents or products or equipment or even inventory is not a lot. It might be under a couple $1,000s. And remember, you do have a deductible for business personal property, and usually it starts off at $500. Now, if you do have personal property coverage, I have seen people that have had $3,000 worth of coverage and they have a $1,000 deductible. I mean, are you really going to make a claim for that? So really, should you be paying for that? Okay. When you are adding up and giving them a value of business personal property, if it's your inventory, you're going to add up the wholesale price because insurance puts you back to where you were before. You are not to make money off of them. Okay. But if you have, let's say, furniture and somebody gave it to you or donated it, you usually have replacement cost on your business personal property, which means that they are going to give you back, the insurance company, the same like, kind, and quality at today's price. So you're going to get new furniture. So you want to make sure when you're adding up your equipment and your contents that you add it up for if you have to replace it at today's cost. Okay? And make sure you have replacement cost. Business interruption can be added onto that. So for instance, let's say that you are a caterer and you have a big project, and guess what? The lights went out. You can't continue. You're going to lose money. You're going to go out of business because it was such a big one. You've already bought everything. Business interruption will help you continue. They're going to help you with your sales. They're going to help you with, like I said, anything like rent, anything that is going to help you with your operations. Okay. Even if you have a couple employees, they're going to help with those, paying them, keep them on, because we have restaurants we insure. Well, if it burns down, they don't want to let their key people go. So this insurance company will pay. But remember, what is your coverage limit? Now, there is a time deductible of when this coverage starts. It can be 0, which all of us want, but a lot of these insurance companies don't offer that. They might start off at 24 hours, 48 hours, or even 72 hours. That means that after, let's say, 72 hours, that's when this kicks in. Imagine for a restaurant losing 3 days, that's a lot. But like for my office, we can work off-site or in our office. After 72 hours, it would be a little stretch, but for 3 days, it would be okay. So just make sure if you do have business interruption, do you know what your time deductible is, or do you even know what your coverage limit is? So these are a couple endorsements or add-ons. Now I want to let you know that there are a lot of add-ons, but I am just going to be talking about a few. I had this person that came to me yesterday. In the contract said they needed commercial auto. He says, I don't need commercial auto. But what this is they're looking for hired and non-owned auto liability. And what that is let's say that you are driving your own car. Let's say you don't have any employees or 1099s, and you're driving your own car and getting some ingredients, and you get in a serious accident and hurt the other people in the other car. Well, that attorney is not only going to sue you and your personal auto liability will cover it, but they're going to sue your business. So if you don't have this coverage, then you are going to have to get your own attorney. Employment practices liability. This protects you, the employer, from your employees or 1099s or your clients. Let's say your client comes to you and says, guess what? One of your employees sexually harassed me, or they accuse you of that. This is what this is going to cover you for. Let's say your employee sues you, the employer, for sexual harassment, wrongful termination, discrimination. This is what this policy or this add-on is going to cover you for. Now, a lot of you probably are small business, so you might not need this, but I like to give it up because a lot of people don't realize that there is a coverage like this. I will let you know also that there are a lot of restaurants that have this, and the reason why is there's a coverage you can add called wage and hour. So we had a restaurant have a dishwasher on salary, and he thought because he was on salary, he didn't have to pay overtime. Well, guess what? That dishwasher sued, and this employment practices paid because it was a wage and hour claim. And I'm hoping everybody knows that when you have people on salary, there are different tiers of who can be exempt from overtime and who can be included or not included. That's really, really important too. Here's some optional coverage, some standalone policies. We talked about professional liability. Are you advising, educating, training anybody? You really need professional liability, because general liability, like I told you, is for property damage and bodily injury. That's not going to help you for your service that you have. Okay. And also it's a liability policy. So if you get sued for that, even if it's right or wrong, the company is going to help you and provide an attorney up to the limit that you have. Workman's compensation, it's a law to have it if you have not only W-2s, but 1099s. Even if they're out of state, even if they work part-time, even if they're paid cash, okay? Workman's comp is for work-related injuries, even if you're in a car. If you're hurt, like my girlfriend got hit by a car while she was getting in her car and she was getting a lot of ingredients and stuff for a presentation. She now, millions of dollars later, Workman's comp helped her with it. All her, she had 17 surgeries. She has to do PT. I mean, it's a mess. Workman's comp has great benefits, so you don't want to get stuck without it, because then you, the employer, are going to be paying your either 1099 that was hurt on the job or your W-2. They pay 2/3 of your salary if you're off more than 3 days. Now, let me tell you, if you pay someone cash, they're not going to get that. They also pay for 100% of the health, or not the health insurance, but really all your medical. Whether you have one surgery or 100, they will pay up to it, and there's no limit. And if you're partially disabled, fully disabled, or die because of a work-related injury, they will pay you a settlement. Okay. You remember too, it doesn't cost to get a quote. Okay. So if you are thinking of getting an employee, you're going to need maybe an inkling of what you think they might pay them for the year. I like to also let you know that you, as the owner, if you're the managing member of the LLC or any of them, or the director or officer of the corporation, you can exclude yourself. But let me tell you, I would definitely get an option of how much it would cost you to include yourself. Because again, you are working all the time. Okay. Umbrella All this is excess liability. I have a lot of people come to me and say, I need an umbrella for all my coverage. Okay. There's a coverage, there's a policy for each coverage. The umbrella, like I said, the general liability, it's based off of, like I said, $1 million. Let's say there's a fine or there was a settlement of 1.5 million and you only have $1 million. Well, they're either going to come after you for the rest, or if you have an umbrella policy that starts off at $1 million, that umbrella is going to pay for the rest. I don't see too many startups or small business have this unless they have a contract or a lease that's asking. Again, it doesn't hurt to get a quote. It's really also, if you're not contracted or a lease to get this, I really feel that's what are your assets? What can you lose? Okay, to start getting another $1 million. Directors and officers liability, or it's called D&O. If any of you are going to be looking for an angel investor, any type of investor, private equity, you are acting like the board of directors, okay? So if something happens, you make a bad loan, or I'm sure that you had a contract with them because they gave you money. So you are promising something, maybe money in 3 or 4 years. What happens if it doesn't happen in those 3 or 4 years? You breach the contract. These private equity people or investors can come after you personally. This is the only policy that is going to be triggered. Okay. Another tip I like to give everybody, if you are on a non-for-profit board, before you get on it, make sure they have directors and officers. Or if you're on one now, I would make sure. If not, I would get off it, because you are acting like the board of directors for that non-for-profit. And let's say a donation doesn't get put towards something that a high donor or even a small donor wanted it to, they can sue all the directors on that board individually. Okay. Special event. I just had somebody call me today. They are going to be showcasing their barbecue sauce. And so wherever they are going, they need a 1-day policy. They need liability. I will let you know, though, if you pay for a liability policy for your business, this will suffice. If they need liquor, then you might need a special event policy because it's really expensive to get, why would you get an annual policy for liquor if you're not really using it or it's not really part of your business? So I like to explain to people that there are special event policies. People have weddings. A lot of them are getting special event policies because the venue is asking for it. A lot of you might be 1099s for a day. So again, this is possible. Okay, subcontractors, big misconception. If you are using a 1099, an independent contractor, I don't care what you call them, you need to make sure that you have insurance for them. General liability, if they're training for you or educating, they need professional and they need workman's comp. If not, then they need to provide it and they need to give you proof of insurance, which I'm going to go over later. I have a lot of people say, listen, I have so many subcontractors that I like and they don't have their own insurance. Then what I tell them, then you need to go to your agent and ask them how they can be covered. Okay, it might cost you a little bit of money, but I know a lot of people don't want to ask their subcontractors or 1099s for insurance, just so you know. Okay, cyber insurance. Okay, big hot topic. You hear about it all the time. This person's getting hacked. These large companies are getting hacked. Well, what about your small business? They like small business better than they like the large. And I'm sure, I don't know if you've ever been to a cyber webinar, but there are actually people in large buildings in these different countries that that's all they do is hack and get money. Okay, so I like to ask people, and you should be asked this also, do you have any business online? Do you use a computer for your business? I don't know really anybody that doesn't use a computer. You know, would your business be impacted if you had online sales? Do you have e-commerce? Are you selling your product online also? Do you store any clients' information on your computer, website, or your application? Now, I will tell you that personal information can be an email, addresses. Before it was social security numbers. Now it's more relaxed. There are laws and regulations. It's a law for a business to protect their clients' personal information, and we know no one can do that. I'm sure everybody heard many years ago about Target getting hit. Well, guess what? They were probably sued, and so they need, and I'll tell you what they're going to need. They're going to need some cyber liability. Each state has their own laws on how to notify their clients of a breach. I know that I've gotten letters lately. I don't know why all of a sudden, but they have even offered me credit monitoring. Well, guess what? That company that was breached, they had to pay for that. So that means if you're breached, you have to do the same thing. And the estimated cost per client is about $224. Okay. Here's some, facts. The biggest fact that really bothers me is just 17% of small businesses have cyber insurance. It really does not cost to get a quote, even if you get 25,000. Okay. Find out how much it is. It could be $50 a year, but you really, really do need it. Okay. Here are some of the online exposures you might not think about. Do you store data? Do you email? And do you email documents, important documents? Do you have remote workers like we do? We found out, because we had this penetration test, that our employees, when they were working from home, were using their own. This was during COVID, because we never, ever worked from home before COVID. We found out that not only were they using their personal computer for business, their kids were using it and their family members were using it for personal use. So we had to purchase computers for everybody, and they are only allowed to use that for the business. Third-party credit card vendors. I know a lot of people use this. Do you know if they are hacked? Are they going to cover you? I doubt it. Because remember, they purchased a cyber policy, hopefully, under their own name. And if you're sued, and there's not a policy in your own name, it's not going to be covered. So make sure about this, about what your responsibility is if you are using like Stripe or PayPal. Have you heard of ransomware? You open up your computer and they say, hey, I have all your information, give me $10,000. This cyber coverage can cover that too. And then again, lost business. You can get business interruption, legal fees, and fines. So these are really things to think about if it happens to you. It could put you out of business. So here are some of the things you can be covered for. Most smaller and lower limit cyber policies only have expense. So like I was telling you, sending out the letter or contacting your clients. Also having to give them credit monitoring. If they accept it, that's expense. But you want to make sure you have liability and defense costs included. You want to make sure you have ransomware. Business interruption, I mean, some of you might need it, some of you might not. And people ask, what cyber limits are best for my business? Well, I would probably get optional quotes for 25 or 50,000. But again, if you are completely 100% online, you might want 100,000. How much does that cost? Again, you don't want to be insurance poor, but you don't want to be left out with nothing to help you. And here are options on how to get cyber coverage. Well, you know that business owner or package policy we talked about in the beginning that includes general liability, business interruption, and property? You can have it added on to your policy, but you got to make sure it's not just for expense. And then the other way, well, we've got tech IT companies, they have a standalone because they need to have tech E&O. They need a lot more coverage than someone that's online because they are having access to their clients' computer systems. Okay. Okay, I'm done with the coverage part of it, and then I'm going to give you some tips about some different types of things that, your agent might not talk about. But when you need a proof of insurance, it's called certificate, it's called a COI. This is what it looks like. And all agents give this out. I don't care if they're State Farm and they have one company. These are given out. We probably do about 40 or 50 a day. So either our clients are doing business for people that are asking that they have proof and they want the proof of the insurance, or they're asking their clients for proof. Okay. A lot of good things. Let's see. Will we get access to the slides and recording? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. So there's a lot of things on here that you want to pay attention to if you are collecting them. The biggest thing is the effective dates. Make sure that these effective dates are in effect, because if not, and they're from before, they might not have the coverage. Okay, it's really important. Also, anything that is written out, they have coverage. So this person does not have umbrella and this person does not have workman's comp. Okay. Okay, I like to do this also because, again, agents aren't going to probably be talking to you about this, but I get a lot of questions. Just so you know, every coverage has a limit, and I like to say it's not the sky. Okay. A lot of these policies and coverages have deductibles. Find out what they are. Contracts and leases, like I told you before, if you don't remember anything else, please do not sign a contract or a lease without sharing the insurance requirements with your agent. We have a lot of people doing these pop-up events. Ask them what the insurance requirements are, especially if you are in a brick and mortar space. What if there's a fire and you're there? Are you responsible for replacing everything? Okay, you want to have a conversation with that before you even say yes, and you want to make sure that you have insurance for it. Comparing quotes and proposals. Just so you know, and this is only for business insurance. If someone calls me and says, I've been to 2 other brokers and I'm just shopping around, I tell them that I'm going to pass, and I'll tell you why. Whatever agent gets their application in first to that insurance company blocks every other agent out. So for instance, let's say I go to Hartford and then another agent goes into Hartford. Whoever gets their application in first gets the quote. The other agent or agents gets blocked out, and the company tells them, hey, I already have a prior submission, so you can't have a quote. So what I tell people is, if you're at a broker and they are experienced with your type of company or what you do, I would have them quote and shop for you. But again, if you're going to State Farm or American Family or Farmers, they're not going to be able to shop for you, but they might be able to get you good rates. So you want to go maybe to a captive agent and a broker. Okay. Now, people tell me, I have 3 quotes and I'm going to look over the proposals and I'm going to compare apples to apples. It's pretty much impossible because my proposal for your company is going to be different from another agent's. So what I would do is try to look it over and then go to that agent that you like and ask them to help you figure it out. Because if you do have a good rate, that agent that you believe in should say, take it and run. I know I would. Okay. But remember also, a lot of these policies are based off of sales and payroll. And if you're not getting this, people quoting the same sales and payroll, then it's going to be off anyways. Okay. The quoting process, I would not give your agent 1 day. I would give them at least 7 to 2 weeks to get quotes for you. Because again, you need to get the information. You might have to fill out applications. You have to send them in. We have to quote it. We have to look at them and then send your proposal. You have to look at it. Then you have to call us and go over it. So when someone's starting a business, you don't have that kind of time. So that's why you want to spread it out. Even if you know 30 days before, it would be great. Okay. And also, you might not find an agent right away either that you like. And then agent expectations. What should you expect from an agent? That they talk to you like I'm talking to you now, giving you options, explaining things. Not it's $500 and here you go. You do not want to look at the price first. You want to look at what you're getting. I can't tell you, I work at 1871 and help them. I can't tell you how many people have showed me their current program and they had an office policy. They had no cyber and they had no tech in E&O, and they were online and having access to clients. They had an office policy, which they were paying for nothing, but they loved it because they were paying for insurance for $500 a year. So be really, really, really conscientious of that. And your agent should be checking in with you as well. Okay. So hopefully you feel better about this. Some of the things I hope you learned about: basic insurance and why you need it, the types of coverage that are out there, and the process of getting the right insurance. The takeaway that I'd like to tell everybody, and remember this in business and even personally, remember, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Okay. And I'm telling you, this should be everybody's mantra, because how do you feel when somebody makes you feel good? Any questions? How can I help?
Thank you so much for that. Actually, there is a question in the chat from Tracy.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it out for her, but Tracy, you are welcome to unmute after this. She wants to know, she has a situation. So she says she have a cranial prosthesis business where she provides and create medical wigs for women who are experiencing medical hair loss. So the insurance broker that she was working with or was contacted with was not sure how to classify and cover the business. And then she also will provide non-medical wigs and products as well. So I think she's wanted some generalized guidance on if this is something you can possibly solve and help her with, and
Sure.
for anybody else within that area.
Sure.
But again, Tracy, you can also speak up as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn. Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So I wasn't really sure which way to go. I'm so confused with this whole process with the insurance, what I need to cover the business. And so the only thing, well, my agent wasn't really sure. And she was like, so I suggested I would contact the program that I got certified with as a cranioprosthetic specialist. And so they told me to code it as DME, durable medical equipment. And so that's pretty much where I'm at. I haven't talked back to the broker yet to kind of figure out what coverage and what I would need for the business. So I'm pretty much at a standstill right now.
Okay. Well, the thing is I'm surprised that the agent didn't call the underwriter to ask them, because there are class codes for every single type of business. Now, you might not fit exactly into that, but I'm, kind of surprised that they would ask you to go and find out, because really that's our job
Okay.
to do that.
And she could say, like, we can do healthcare. She can put it under healthcare, or she can put it under here. And so it was kind of like, and I wanted to know for sure, like, how do we, yeah.
Well, that really shouldn't be your job, because let me tell you something else too. If that insurance company, a lot of times we can just go online and pick whatever we want. They might come back to you after a few months and say, I'm sorry, we're canceling you because you weren't put under that. I mean, if you want to give me a call, we can talk offline.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you. I mean, here's my information. I'm always on email. I'd be happy to set up. And please, everybody, I'm on LinkedIn also, so I would love everybody to connect with me. LinkedIn is very powerful. I will let you know, very powerful. And if you have and believe in your product, show the world, tell the world about it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have anything they ever wanted to ask? Let me see what some of these questions are. I mean, what types of consultant, coaches, creative contractors, service providers might be vulnerable without professional liability? Well, I think you kind of see. You can be sued for your service, believe it or not, even if it's right or wrong. And again, professional liability is going to help you. Let's see.
I actually have a question.
Sure.
It will help me to explain this to other business owners.
Great.
There is there's a saying or general understanding that when you go into business and you become a limited liability company, then you should already be protected in case something happens or someone wants to sue you. Do you find that to be true, or is this a layer of protection because it's paired with the right type of insurance for the company?
Okay, think about this. If you are sued and you don't have an insurance policy that is going to give you a lawyer, who's going to pay for it? You could ask them that. I don't care what it is. Now, it is protecting you individually. So if you have an LLC or a corp or a limited liability, if you get sued for your business and personal, the insurance policy is going to cover you. But like I asked, okay, so they're going to protect you. Who's going to protect you? You even if it's baloney, you have to have an attorney get you out of it, right? So that's the question I would ask. So who's going to pay for it? Does it help you?
No, I think that's spot on. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, Anna, how often should we be reviewing our insurance policy? So, what I mean is, I've been in business for 3 years now. I've
Mm-hmm.
had my insurance policy for 2 years now. Uh, and so it's like, of course, I just renew when it was time to renew, but like before I renew, should I be reviewing that, looking at different things and so forth? How often are we supposed to do that? Because, sometimes as a business owner, you're like, okay, I got business insurance. I have a general liability. I'm a handcrafted custom made jewelry company. And so I'm online and I'm in different pop-ups and in different stores and so forth. But it's like, how often should we be reviewing what we have to make sure that we still have the best of what we need, or and that we're getting the best price? Because like some of the other ladies, when I first got insurance, when I told them that I was a handcrafted custom made jewelry company, they didn't know what to do with me. Like a lot of insurance me kept telling me they would insure me, so they kept pushing me to all these different places, and I did find someone to insure me, but I think they didn't know what to do with my business.
Okay. Let me
So,
tell you, if you have an agent asking you that question, I would probably move on. And I
okay.
would probably go to the Sunshine Enterprise and ask them who they use. But I will let you know, and that's another agent expectation. An agent should be, I don't care if you're paying $300 a year or $1 million a year, they should be reaching out and going over it with you. Now, I will tell you that we have a lot of people that we send the letter out, we ask them, we try to spark things and say, hey, let's set up an appointment. A lot of people don't want to, or I don't know why, but every year, because there's different things. And also because you're growing, you might need other things that you don't even know about. So you should not be looking it over, because do you know what you're looking at? Probably not. And how should you? You're not the professional. So I would definitely have your agent they should be reaching out to you every year. You don't
Okay.
just pay the bill and move on. Help
Okay.
you?
Yep. Helps a lot.
Good. Let's see, I'm looking still at the questions. Did somebody want to ask a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask. So after the alumni sees this, and of course they're going to go back and look at their policy. They're going to probably have some questions. And what if they're in the middle of their insurance policy, in the middle of the year, and they're like, I want to switch over? Is that an easy process to do?
Yes, it is. Now, there are some businesses that we have to go to a specialty policy for. And sometimes you might get short rated if you cancel in the middle, but the agent should really tell you. But if you ever want me to review your coverages, it's not going to cost you anything. We don't charge, and no agent should really be charging to review or ask questions. Okay. Here's one that I see. Can you explain certificates of insurance and additional insured requirements? Okay. I don't like to get into that, but since that's a question, I will. Okay, when someone is asking you to add them on as an additional insured, the reason why they're doing it, so let's say a plumber. I'm a general contractor, I hire a plumber. Well, the plumber's doing their work. I have nothing to do with it. If he breaks something or burns something down or whatever, I have no control. But guess what? I'm going to be sued too, because a lawyer is going to sue everyone. So when the general contractor goes to the plumber and says, please add me on to your policies and additional insured, the reason why is because the general contractor will be able to use the plumber's insurance until it's used up, and then his policy will pick up after that. Now, let me just show you something else too, because hopefully your agent knows what they're doing. See here, if you are asking somebody to be added on as an additional insured, it should say it here. The word additional insured should be here. Okay. So a lot of people just, they don't really know. The agent sends out the certificate. You ask them to add additional insured. You know what the problem is also is a lot of people that are asking for certificates of insurance, they don't know what they're looking for. They just they just take it and they hope that you are complying with the contract. Obviously, if something happens, that's when you're going to find something out. Because we have a lot of people say, just send it out what I have. I am not going to comply. Okay. We document that. And a lot of times they take it because they don't know what they're looking for. They're just supposed to get a certificate of insurance from that person. Okay. Hopefully that helped you.
I have one more question. And we talked a lot about, having business insurance. And then there are some variables of when one of the entrepreneurs should have. So they should have business insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance, auto insurance. Is that something that you and your company can help with if they don't know where to start? Because it seems like a lot to manage at once.
Yes. So we are a full service agency. We have home and auto, we have business insurance, we have life, health, Medicare, sup. We write every type of insurance. And we also, like I said, are a broker, and we're licensed in most states also. So yes. Now it's too bad that if you have the same insurance company for your home and auto and your business, they give you a credit, but it's usually not that way. But a lot of times you probably are not going to have the same company for your home and auto as you do for your business, because a lot of business companies don't write personal lines and vice versa. So the biggest thing you want to do is be with a broker if possible, because they have many options for you. So I hope that helped.
I think so. And we just have one more person that come in. We have a couple of minutes left. Janelle, I just want to see if you had any questions for Anna Maria before we start closing out.
No specific question. Sorry I'm late. I had a meeting. But I was glad to catch the end of it because all of that was really helpful too.
Great.
Awesome. And just a quick reminder, you guys, we are recording this. As soon as we get this over to our marketing communications and get everything all clipped up, I'll be sure to first share this with the ones who have showed up and participated. So we thank you so much. As well as thanking Anna. This was very informative. I don't think we have this workshop, of course, enough. So we might have to revisit this again in like the next couple of months if that works with you.
I love it. I love doing it. And I appreciate everybody, with the questions and everything. It's great.
Yes, thank you. So I hope you guys really did honestly enjoy this. We're right at 11:55. I know we gave ourselves some time. Sometimes these questions can go a little bit longer, but if you see on the screen, there's time where you can book and a screenshot, or if you Alexander, you have a way to show that link, or if you want to share it with me, I can send it over to everyone directly. You do see the contact information. Please add her on LinkedIn as well. She has been a very dedicated service provider since before I got here to Sunshine. Been serving our clients faithfully for the past couple of years, and we will continue this partnership in order to keep all of our income and our assets and our general success insured and covered.
Mhm. And like I said, you can book here anytime with me. I have, time a lot open, so no problem at all. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Much success to everybody.
Thank you so much.
Have a good
Awesome,
week,
sir.
rest of the week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.